Tomorrow's the first day of spring. You could actually smell it in the air. And we've got a lot of seedlings to get into the ground. So in this video, we're going to be transplanting a lot of our seedlings into the garden proper. The weatherman says Mother Nature is going to be cooperating. Temperatures are supposed to be in the upper 30s and above for the next week plus. So that's a positive for us. So we got a lot of seedlings to get planted into the ground. So let's get going. So this is the garden bed that the onions are going to go in. I just built this bed last year. The pathway used to actually be that wide. And I said, I don't need that much walkway. So I put another bed in right along the path. And this is where the onions are going to go. And as I said, I do follow the square foot gardening method even when I'm planting in a bed. So again, I'm going to plant them on 4-inch spacing. So it'll be 9 per square foot times 8 square feet. That'll be 72 onions, which should be enough for me. Hopefully I have 72 onion plants there. I'm going to be pretty close otherwise. So this bed was mulched over with leaves that I chopped up really fine. So you don't want to plant into the leaves. You just want to clear them out. Move them back. You want to plant into dirt. You don't want to plant into your mulch. And we can place it back around the onions after they're in the ground. Get a nice flat. So just as when I planted the turnips, and take my dibber and push it into the ground about 2 inches. So on my dibber, this is 1 inch, this is 2 inches. So I know to go into the ground up to that point. And this was just a dowel I had that I cut some grooves into to make reference marks. So we've got 9 holes, and let's tease out some onion plants. So I'm actually just going to use a pencil. Place that like there, and then just push it into the hole. I think make these holes a little bit bigger. That'll facilitate putting them into the ground easier. Take that. Onions are very tough plants, so you don't have to worry about babying them or anything like that. Once you have them planted, give them a good soaking with water. That roots them into the ground, gets rid of air pockets. And once you do that, now you can take your mulch and lay it back in. Careful not to bury your plants, but this will help retain water and keep them from drying out too fast. Now, if you were to just grow, like when we did the rutabaga, we planted it in the ground, and then we didn't cover up the seeds with the mulch, and that's because we want them to sprout first before covering up. Since we have a plant here already, we can cover in the base with the mulch. All right, I'm going to clear out all the mulch from this bed here, plant all the seeds, and then I'll be back. Does anyone need some onions? Looks like I didn't need this many onions. Planted the row. It was actually only 66, and that's because this takes up some space here. Otherwise, we'd have gotten the 72 in there, but I think 66 is fine as well. I'm gonna hang on to these anyway, just in case something happens to these and I need a replacement to fill in, so I'm gonna hang on to them. So they've been planted, firmed up. Now I just gotta water them. And now I'll take all the mulch that I had pulled out and I'll put it around the plants again. Gonna be planting broccoli now. This is my broccoli calabrese, and it's gonna go in the sister garden to where we planted the onions. Planted the onions over there in that bed. This one, broccoli, is gonna go in here. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 broccoli plants. This is, of course, 8 feet long, thereabouts. And broccoli is planted 1 plant per square foot in the square foot gardening method. But the thing is, I've got 9 broccoli calabrese and about 20 Waltham 29s. That's what happens when you don't check your garden plan and you just keep planting seed. So what I'm going to probably do is what I've done in years past, is I just put them in non-garden areas. Like I've got an island right over there, and I'll just probably put a few broccoli over there as well, and in a few other spots around, just to not completely waste the plants. But yeah, make sure you know where you're planting and how many you need before you actually start sowing seed. So just like before with the onions, I'll use my seed planting guide template that I made. Now, this won't be enough to plant those in. I'm just giving myself a target area because I'm going to need to dig out some soil from there to fit the plant in. So every foot we'll just go along and plant 1 plant. So we'll take the best of the ones that we got and we'll put them in the ground. So in planting vegetables like this, I like to use the bulb planter because that removes enough dirt that the little container will fit right in. We've got a nice root system here, and this, we can actually go a little bit deeper because we can plant up to these leaves here. Brassicas, remember, they like a firm footing, so don't worry about smashing them into the ground. So we've got the 8 broccoli plants planted. We've got 1 left over, so I'll bring that back inside. Like I said, we've got 20 others in the greenhouse. And now we'll just water these in real good. And I'll just move all the mulch back in around them. So they've been nestled in with the mulch, and we'll keep an eye on them now, see how they progress. And now we have a few more to plant. We've got cabbage and we've got Brussels sprouts. Hi, this is an interruption from future me. This is the day after, and things did not quite go as expected. The weatherman lied to me. He said it was supposed to be in the upper 30s or above for the rest of the week, for the next 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. So I transplanted the broccoli yesterday, and I woke up this morning. It said 29 degrees, feels like 22, and I didn't put any covering over them. I should have known better. So the leaves do look a little wilted, but these leaves down here, the new leaves, still look healthy on it. So it's probably going to go through a little bit of a shock from the very cold overnight temps. The leaves should have provided a little bit of protection. Obviously not nearly enough for anything that was above them, but as I said, I should have known to put some protection over them. As you can see, those leaves got fried, but the rest of the plant is still healthy. So this is 2 days after they're in the ground, and despite the frost bite that they got, the plants are still thriving and still growing. So it was unfortunate it happened, silly on my part for letting it happen, but it's not the end of the world, and your plants can bounce back. So hopefully better late than never, but I've covered the broccoli with these buckets. They're nearly 1 foot square. These are the ones I grow my potatoes in, and they should provide cover, enough cover. So we're going to plant the Brussels sprouts here. 1 per foot, square foot seed hole. So we've got a nice root ball here on this, and we'll plant it deep into the soil, fill in around it, and firm it. Brussels sprouts like a firm footing. I'll take the mulch, the leaf litter, and put it all around the plants. So what I'll do is I'll just pull back some of this. And I don't want to wet the leaves, so I'm just going to give them a deep soaking and then push this back on top. Make sure it gets right down to the roots, and then push the mulch back on top. And I got 4 more to plant in here. So we've got the Brussels sprouts planted. 8 in all, about 1 foot apart. These will end up probably needing some support as they grow. In previous years, sometimes they've grown really crazy straight up, and but kind of twisty. So if you put some vertical support in, a pipe, a post of some sort of stick, it just helps them grow straight. But for now, it's okay. They've been watered in, mulched again, and hopefully the weatherman will be cooperative with us. So I've covered the Brussels sprouts with these buckets, and the reason they have these lids on them is because they got drainage holes in the bottom. So to help prevent the cold air from getting in. I put the lids on upside down. This ring actually almost snaps into place. Not quite, but it actually holds it pretty firm. The Rutabaga is coming along nicely. It's growing along. As you can see, we had almost full germination on them. So this is, I think, week 4 on them. And they're doing good. So now I'm actually going to transplant the Rutabaga that we started inside the same day that we started these seeds outside. As you can see, the indoor plants are doing much better than the outdoor. So I'm going to plant 4 to a square here, here, and then here and here, depending on how many plants I have. Now I'm just going to start putting the mulch back around. And now I'll cover up these squares with buckets. So the Rutabaga is all buttoned up underneath the buckets, and that should protect them from the frost overnight. To pot up the lettuce, I use one of these bus buckets that I showed previously. I drilled holes in the bottom, and they're about 14 inches wide, maybe 16 inches long. And I'll put 4 lettuce plants into one of these. I fill it with my potting up mix, which is the peat moss, compost, and perlite. So it takes about a little bit less than a 5-gallon bucket. I guess it's about 3/4 of a 5-gallon bucket. In my math, I don't feel like mathing at this time. So just like our other vegetables, we dig a hole, pop out our lettuce plant, and place it in. Do another one here. You can see all the plants look healthy, putting on some nice green leaves with a reddish tint for the red romaine. In the past, I've squeezed 6 in here, put them a little bit closer together. Romaine tends to have a little bit more compact growth pattern than does like the head lettuce or a leaf lettuce. But we'll do 4 in this one bucket, which should be more than enough to make plenty of salads. Now we'll give them a good drink. We'll let them settle down, and then we'll move them outdoors. So if you want to see what we were doing last week in the garden, check out this video right here, and then hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along on the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.